Hi everyone, this is Sarah from Simple Sanctuary Garden. I just got off work. It is a fairly beautiful day, although it's pretty cold, and I was pretty desperate to go and get out in the garden and spend some time out here, but we're gonna have a hard freeze tonight. I can't really do many planty things besides water them really well and prepare them for this freeze. So I thought I would give you guys a bare bones tour of our garden so you can get a general lay of the land, have at least the beginnings of an idea of what we're up to, and just, show you guys around. So I'm calling this a bare bones tour because it's January, and even though I live in Florida, we don't really have a lot going on, and after tonight I expect we're gonna have a whole lot less going on. It's also a bare bones tour because I'm filming this on my phone. I don't have a fancy camera. I actually filmed this tour once already using a really old digital camera that I have that I felt like was still fancy and I could probably get away with using. And no, even my iPhone 7 has got much better picture quality than that digital camera. So we're just kind of winging it here. The first thing I want to show you guys is my front bed. This is in my front side yard, and I've made it from some reclaimed scraps of wood. I'm planning on filling it with like really pretty, unusual looking vegetables. I've got some Romanesco plants I'm really excited about. Like 99% of the people out there, I got that purple basil from Baker Creek, and so that's gonna go in here. This is my husband's grand experiment bed. Last summer, he planted a bunch of corn here. Since then, we've been growing different rounds of black beans, trying to nutrify the soil a little bit. Let me see if I can show you well. That little guy was about 3 times that size 2 days ago. Something came in and just absolutely, can you see this? There were leaves on there. Absolutely munched it down. We suspect it was a rabbit because Ginger found that rabbit poop. But we don't know. Okay, mixed in with an assortment of other containers, we have our first 2 raised beds that we built. Ryan is an engineer and a tinkerer and didn't want just like some slapped together raised bed. So he made it beautiful for me, and I'm so excited. You can again see some evidence of last night's light frost. I swear I covered these things and they just really didn't like it. We have a couple of tomatoes that were still growing. We'll see if they bounce back. I think at one point we had 10 different things in this one bed alone. So we really pack it in to try and see how much we can get out of very little space. Okay, so these next 2 beds are absolutely incredible and really exciting, and are going to be the source of some summer experiments that I'm going to do. So this is what we have called the ziggurat. We were planning on doing some of the Three Sisters planting, and along that line of thinking, we're thinking about, Native American architecture, and my husband was really inspired by ziggurats that have been found all over North and Central and South America. And so we built one for a tiered planting bed, and I really love how things work when it's tiered. It's great if you're wanting to plant like a couple things with a really long taproot, or if you're really inspired by permaculture principles and are wanting those different heights. So sort of like a mini food forest idea. You can see right now we don't have a ton growing. We've got some beautiful nasturtium, and a potentially very dead oregano. But this summer what I'm planning on doing is going off the Three Sisters idea, putting mammoth sunflowers in each of the 4 low corners, and one, I think, in the smack center of the top. And I'm gonna grow some like mini melons. I think one that I ordered is the midget melon, and then the Beni Kodami watermelon. I think that's the little small watermelon. I've ordered both of those, and I'm going to try and grow them up the sunflowers in the same way that pole beans will grow up corn, just to see if I can. I think that would be really fun. Okay, and then last but not least, switching hands again, oh my gosh, it's so cold, is what we have called the Triggerot. It's like the Ziggurat, but there's 3 levels instead of 2, and there is this, I'm not going to look too down in there because there's garden scraps, but there's a composting tube. So we put kitchen scraps down there. It's like constantly feeding, constantly giving compost tea, and because of that the soil is a lot warmer. So if you notice, there's a lot less frost damage over here. There's a little bit on this monstrosity of a tomato, but that's because I don't have a sheet big enough to cover all of that glory. That tomato, if we straightened it up all the way, would probably be 12 feet tall. It's absolute insanity. But the warmth of the roots, for instance, this oregano looks totally different from this oregano. Both of these were covered by bed sheets, very old bed sheets, and the main thing I can think of is that this dirt is just a lot warmer than everywhere else because of that composting tube. So I'm hoping that another benefit of this composting tube is going to be what we're able to grow next to each other that we ordinarily wouldn't. Last year we really struggled with pests, particularly with cucumbers. I had 6 or 7 cucumber plants and did not have a single edible cucumber. It was heartbreaking. And so what I'm hoping is that with how water disperses in this Ziggurat, or Triggerot, excuse me, and the constant supply of nutrients from the composting tube, that we could technically grow cucumbers and tomatoes in the same bed. We had some in separate bins, but that were right next to each other, and it ended up kind of intertwining into the same trellis last year. And once they did that, we had no more pest problems. So there's something about the scents, I guess. And so what I'm hoping, and let me flip this around. Okay, so what I'm hoping is that by watering all 3 levels and having this slow dispersal of water, I can grow tomatoes in this middle bed, cucumbers down here, and get that benefit of the mixed scents to help ward off pests, but not have either one be water or nutrient deficient. I have no idea how well that's going to work, so I'm going to be growing cucumbers and tomatoes in multiple places to try and hedge my bets, but that would be so awesome if I could grow them next to each other. I'm really excited. You guys getting frisky? Well, don't stop. Go on, go get her. Okay, well, that's my tour. Like I said, there's not a ton going on, just some good infrastructure that we're planning on taking advantage of. If you guys enjoyed this, please hit the thumbs up button below. And if you'd like to follow along with us as the growing season kicks off and we experiment with some plants, please hit the subscribe button. Talk to you soon.